Hey, welcome back to Fat Boys Anime. We're out here. We're recording on Thursday nights because we don't record on Mondays because it's The Bachelor. And we're about to hit you with some real sexy stuff. But before we tell you whether this is going to be a filet mignon or a ribeye, let's tell you real quick where you can find us at. If you would like to reach out to us on social medias and tell us we're garbage or tell us we're the best podcast you've ever listened to, you can find us on Instagram at Fat Boys. Boys is BOIS anime. You can catch us on Twitter at Fat Boys Anime 1. And if you want to see us do the Renegade and all that stuff on TikTok, you can catch us at Fat Boys Anime. So yeah, if you wanna send out a shout out, be like, wow, greatest thing of all time. That's where you can find us.
Heck yeah. I just made some pancakes and eggs for dinner. You guys have Brinner before? That's some good stuff.
Once a year, man. I don't do that constantly because I'm throwing down eggs and pancakes every morning. You know what I mean? To have it for dinners.
Ooh.
A little
Well,
much.
so you telling me you wake up before work like a couple hours early and make eggs and pancakes?
Okay,
I'm
not
calling
always.
cap.
Not always pancakes, all right? Sometimes. That's usually on the weekends. I was capping on that. But I'm telling you, I'm waking up early, man, getting some eggs done, usually, 2 to 4 eggs, getting some bacon. Sometimes the wife makes me do turkey bacon. I'm going to admit it, all right? But usually I try to get that real bacon in, anywhere from like 3 to 6 slices. And, I try to get some toast in.
6 slices because you feed half them to your dogs too.
Yeah, right. The dogs are still sleeping when I'm up, man. That's how much I'm grinding. And then like half the other time though, in all honesty, I'm like waking up like 10 minutes before I have to walk out the door, so I just like shower real quick and then run in, so I don't eat anything.
You're dry scooping a thing of protein.
Oh god.
Yeah, exactly. I'm over here like just drinking orange juice and running out the door. We get the job done sometimes. Sometimes.
I'm one of those people where literally if I don't eat something like 30 minutes after I wake up, I start getting sick. I'll get like a headache. I'll feel like I'm gonna throw up. I'm like
one of those boys. You're probably eating chia seed pudding in the morning, I bet, huh? With like some like granola, a little bit of like blueberry. I know you, man.
we actually made some chia seed pudding. It was pretty good. I was like, all right. I like this.
You get one orange peel and that's your breakfast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll sprinkle a little oregano and like a half slice of avocado on it. Do it Scottsdale AZ style.
Tyler eats like 4 almond slices and then like half an avocado in the morning.
Man, it was working pretty good until COVID hit, and then I packed on like 30 pounds. So now it's just
that's the whole U.S. man.
Yeah,
it's been rough. I'm not gonna lie, but we're gonna get back. We're gonna bounce back.
Man, speaking of people that are fat, we're gonna be hitting people with some choji related information today. We're gonna hit them with a couple Twitter polls. We're gonna release some very juicy Boruto spoilers. If you do not want to know, you're gonna want to skip ahead about 10 minutes when we get to that, maybe 5 minutes. Then we're gonna be breaking down. Oh, we're gonna do our would you rather's because we always cook up a juicy would you rather for you, and then we're gonna be getting into a debate. This is almost like a Gen Z versus millennial debate, but who is better, Kid Naruto or Kid Boruto?
Spoiler alert, it's Kid Boruto.
No, what the heck, boy?
Oh, God.
We're gonna get into that thing.
Yeah.
Bet.
Man, don't get me started out here. Don't get me started. All right, so let's just kick out the gate with this. So if you listen to our last episode, top 5 senseis, you already know Keka Genkai. She was the best sensei. We all decided on that. But I thought we'd give it to our Twitter followers.
Whack.
She didn't do too well. But here was our
we do this every time, Ty. We set ourselves up, man, because we're big on Yu Yu Hakusho, and not that many. It doesn't get that much love, man. I don't think that many people have seen it. So Everyone's like, who the heck is that? Next.
She's like the Fallout Boy of anime. Like if you were there when it happened, you would know she's one of the greatest. But if you're after the fact, you kind of forgot all about it. So number one, we had Genkai. Number two, we had All Might. Number three was Jiraiya. And
Yeah.
number four was Koro Sensei. For who is the best sensei amongst these four baddies?
So this kind of aligns with the list we wrote out, right? So depending on who they pick on here, shows us who had the best list.
Yeah, this was kind of an average because I believe you and Nogs had Jiraiya number one. I had Genkai number one, and then we all had Koro Sensei somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And then I figured All Might was going to be a little more popular, so we threw a bone to those My Hero fans.
Man, I feel like All Might has just been slacking. I feel like he could do a lot better job. But to be fair, like his power is kind of like unknown to everyone still, like him included. So it's hard for him to really help out Deku that much because he's kind of like experiencing it in a different way. Genkai, like I said, man, not that many people know her. I only really have two acceptable answers. That was Koro Sensei and Jiraiya. Like if one of those guys didn't finish first, I'd be disappointed in everyone.
Question on All Might's power, one for all. So is he like the Avatar where he can remember his past lives and like people he gave it to?
Yeah, so they actually like in the manga, it's kind of diving deep into it more. So like you're almost able to like see or kind of communicate with the people who held that power in the past. But for like All Might, he hasn't like kind of like, not really of a spoiler, but he hasn't like essentially met everyone that like has held that power before. He's met a few of them. Deku's kind of like meeting some where he like where All Might hasn't met, so that's like where the confusion is. He's like, you know what, I'm not really too sure like what's going on type of deal. Like you're gonna have to like keep an eye on it and try to figure it out yourself. The cool thing is like you're able to like Deku's like able to like get the powers of these past holders too, like their original powers before they got the all for one power. But so I mean, there's a lot of unknown around it still, so it's gonna be interesting, and Deku's gonna probably get a pretty big power up here soon.
So you saying he can draw on their quirks too?
Yeah, so like
What?
so essentially, right? Deku has just recently met like this one previous holder, and essentially he could kind of like bring out. It's almost like a whip power. It kind of looks like a black shadow whip. Not 100% sure like what it is exactly. They're still explaining it in the manga, but it's kind of coming up. It's come up clutch a couple times. Deku doesn't really know how to use it, and it kind of really like zaps his power with him trying to use it because he's kind of like accessing multiple quirks at once essentially. But so that's kind of like the tricky thing. That's what I'm saying. So if he masters that power, and I can't remember off the top of my head how many previous holders there is, like 5 or 6 or something like that. But essentially, if he's able to like connect with those people, he's gonna obviously be able to control all for one better, and then he's gonna be able to access those previous holders like original quirks, which is gonna be pretty insane because he can essentially hold up to like 5+ quirks is what they're kind of making it seem.
He's gonna be a powerhouse then.
Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. I'm excited about that.
So we might get to see a little bit of that in this season 4 or season 5 coming up, or no?
It depends how far they want. If they do like a pretty decent season and not just like 12 episodes of them like holding out on all the juicy stuff from us, you should see something pretty interesting.
All right, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, speaking of All Might, he got 9%. Yeah, he took Deku to the beach and they did some sprints, but he, like Nogs was saying, he hasn't really done a whole lot yet. So, Genkai got 18% because she's that legendary grandma that nobody knows about.
Yeah.
But we're here to educate him. Jiraiya got 36% and was just barely edged out by Koro Sensei with 37%.
Yeah.
That's respectable.
It's hard to argue that because Koro Sensei was like super hands-on. He's probably like the most hands-on teacher out of all of them. Like even Jiraiya, like we all love Jiraiya, but Jiraiya would kind of, was definitely hands off a lot, and he wasn't with Naruto all the time. Like
Yeah.
if we had more time for him to grow, it might have been different. But I mean, he'd be like, "All right, Naruto, pop this balloon," and then like leave and go hit up all the chicks and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, Koro never left the students to go gambling and go to strip clubs in Japan. So we probably
Yeah.
got to give Koro Sensei a little edge over Jiraiya as far as
Although
just
he did do
purely a
that
sense.
though. He'd be
Yeah.
like, "Let me go fly to India real quick, get some
Yeah.
nice cuisine, and come back."
Yeah.
It just wasn't as bad as Jiraiya was.
Yeah, Jiraiya would be
Yeah.
like, "Pop this balloon. I'm gonna go research." We all know.
Research.
We all know what that research entails.
What you talking about, Koro Sensei?
Yeah, but I get it. I get that whole result. Actually, that's like one of the first results we've had that's made the most sense to me. I bet some of these people be tripping sometimes.
We just can't include One Piece. If you include One Piece in the poll, it just falls apart. So I'll just exclude One Piece for a while, and we'll get some better results.
This is how Tyler words it, though. He's like, "Who's the best One Piece sensei?" And then he'll be like Luffy, and then he'll list Koro Sensei, Jiraiya, and you're like, "Well, those other people ain't even in One Piece, so of course it's Luffy."
That's my goal by the end of our podcast is just to convert everyone to believing that One Piece is the greatest anime of all time. So, well, we'll see how much progress I make. All right, Twitter poll number 2. If you could bring back one of these characters to be alive in Boruto, who are we bringing back? All right, so our options were number 1, Uncle Neji, the head of the Byakuya clan with that Byakugan. Number 2, Uncle Itachi teaching Sarada that Amaterasu with the Susanoo with the infinite Tsukiyomi. Number 3 was Grandpa Minato. Honestly, I don't know what he would do because Naruto already knows everything. Yeah, it's like he already knows everything, bro. You're not teaching us nothing. Or number 4, Great Grandpa Jiraiya.
Ooh, I haven't heard this one yet.
So if I'm picking one, I tend to honestly like go with some of the younger characters. So for me, I'd probably do Neji or Itachi. I feel like Minato. I don't know. I just feel like the younger guys could have had more of a life to live. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Neji, and honestly, I'm leaning more towards Itachi in this instance because Itachi had like a terrible life, man. Like hopefully hopefully he could have had some rebound and have some like good family moments if he was living in Baruto currently. Like Neji, yeah, well, he's part of the side branch. They kind of treated him differently, so I mean, he would be a good one to bring back too. But Minato, that boy put his life. I mean, they all put their life down for the village. No, man. Dang it.
Put
Rest
the
in
team
peace.
on their
This
backs.
this is a tough one, but I'd probably. You know what? I'm going Neji, man. Neji needs to come back out of everyone. He
Let
needs
me
to
tell
come
you,
back.
Switching it up.
Neji is one of the most overrated characters. He is not even that great. He has zero personality. His skills ain't that good.
Dang.
Neji ain't that great. Just because he died made him better. It's like
His
when
skills
one of
ain't
the
that good.
celebrity pop stars dies. They're like, oh, they're the
Yeah.
king of pop. They're the king of rock. No, they just died. They weren't actually that good.
Dang, Nick spit fire
Out
over
of
here.
that whole OG crew, Neji was the first one to become a Jonin.
So
And he was that means his that means his
gosh.
skills were legit, man. He was the only one who was just like really top tier at a young age still. This dude was a genius, man. He was put in a side branch, but like I'm trying to think about it, like how their lives would be if they were currently like in Baruto. This man, he might be the head of the Hyuga clan. You never know, right? Because Hinata didn't take it to her younger sister Nabi, but he's really got this all changed because Naruto like essentially abolished that whole thing of like putting the curse mark on the side branch, Hyuga clan people. So then he'd be able to live his life. He'd have a free life. He'd be able to, just, have his own life, man. Maybe he starts his own family. Like where would he ended up? Itachi, I want everyone back. First of all, let me just put it there. If I could have all these guys back, I would. But like Itachi, it's like, you can't really, how do you live life after you've killed your whole clan? You know what I mean? He would never be able to go back to the Leaf Village, even though it was normal.
Nah.
it'd kind of be a little too hard because I mean, like everyone knows Itachi has like this big old villain. No one's. I don't think everyone's really know the future about it. Minato and Jiraiya, just because they're kind of older and kind of like the points that Tyler said, like Minato, like Naruto has grown to be like the best ninja of all time, obviously. So like what would be like his whole role? You know what I mean? He wouldn't
Yeah,
have
like what
much
is
of
he
a
gonna
story.
do?
He's just gonna be like a cheesy grandpa at that point, or what? And
Well, think of it
Jiraiya,
this way. Going back to the poll, I'd rather see Baruto train under Itachi for an arc
oh,
than him
okay,
train under
Ooh.
Neji, right?
but
Hmm.
you got. I mean, essentially Baruto's training under Sasuke though, so it's
Yeah,
like you're.
and he looks up to Sasuke. So if he
Yeah,
trained under Sasuke's master,
yeah. But if you think about it, at this point in the game, Sasuke's stronger than Itachi, probably by a landslide, and probably knows how to use like his Sharingan way better. You know what I mean? Where Neji, if Neji stayed alive, he'd hands down be the strongest Hyuga. I don't think there's any debate. Like he'd be the strongest one. He's stronger than
Oh yeah.
Hinata, and he's stronger than Hanabi. You know what I mean? So like, because Baruto, trains. He knows how to do. He took training under Hanabi, and Hinata taught him all that stuff too. So imagine him learning from the best Hyuga member. This dude would be a beast in hand to hand, maybe the best fighter in hand to hand combat in the whole village when he becomes older.
you're right about him being the best Hyuga because you think of his dad and his uncle. They had a lot of personal baggage they carried, and that
Yeah,
just brought down their
Yeah.
arts as ninja. So I could see where he is the best because he's the one that worked hardest at it.
yeah. What do the results
Well,
say?
man, let's see what these young busters out here said. So they gave Grandpa Minato 0%.
Oh, not even one.
Savage.
They said you can stay in the grave, homie. Um, Jiraiya got 12%
Yeah,
because Jiraiya's already old. Like he was
yeah,
awesome, but if he was alive in Baruto, he'd be at least 70 years old or something. So it's kind of like, okay, what else are
yeah.
you gonna do? Neji had 38%, and our boy Itachi, the ghost of the Uchiha clan, had 50%. Let's
That's
That's
what
go.
I'm
pretty.
talking about.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, I get it. I do.
Man, are y'all? Oh man, okay. So we're about to drop. This is sad. This is terrible. If you don't want a horrible Baruto spoiler, skip ahead about 5 minutes. Okay. All right. You got 3 seconds.
I
Three,
can't skip ahead.
Counting
two,
down.
one.
Hit us
Sorry.
with that news, Tyler.
No. Okay. So this was released in the manga this past week for Baruto. Supposedly, Kurama sacrificed himself so that Naruto would not die, but only Kurama would die. Now I haven't read the manga, so I don't know all the logistics, but basically the gist of it is that we think Kurama at the moment is dead. He has left Naruto's body. This means he has lost all the Jinchuriki powers. He can't go KCM 1, can't go KCM 2. Obviously, Baryon mode, that's out the window. So, now you've got Sasuke's lost his Rinnegan, Naruto's lost Kurama, and they're just getting their cheeks clapped out here by the Atsuki.
What does
So
his chakra look like? Like, how many shadow clones can you do without relying on that power?
you still could do a lot. So if you guys remember, I think it was in Naruto. I don't think it was in Naruto Shippuden quite yet, but there's a point where Kakashi references Naruto, and he's like, Naruto has more chakra reserves than me, and it was like not including like his nine tails. So like at the very least, he has more chakra than Kakashi was at a Jonin. And you got, yeah, I mean, you take into account like Naruto still has Sage Mode, right? So even when he had Sage Mode and he was a teenager, this dude was by far the strongest person in the whole Leaf Village. Might have been the strongest person, excluding like Madara and like the first Hokage, but those guys have been like long past. The strongest person like at that moment when he was fighting Pain. Of course, he used the Nine Tails power to help Pain, but that's because it got a little tricky in there. It's like, one-on-one, can Naruto beat Pain with just Sage Mode? There's a possibility because he took out like what, like 4 or 5 of his guys, right? So,
Yeah.
so I personally think that Naruto would probably be the strongest. Maybe not stronger than Sasuke at this point. It just depends how they work things out with Sasuke and his Rinnegan. But I still think he's probably going to be the strongest ninja in all of Boruto still, because I don't really know who competes with him, especially when he's in Sage Mode. I don't think there's really anyone who can, and the only one who could would be Sasuke. So if anything, I'm saying Sasuke might be stronger than him still. But it's gonna be interesting. I don't know how it's gonna play out because I think those are a couple leaked pages that everyone saw. Because
Yeah.
the whole premise, right? Like if you took the Jinchuriki out of the host's body, then the host would die too. So technically, if he leaves Naruto's body, wouldn't he die? Naruto die too, or is it like one of those things where Naruto's going to die and then
Hmm.
he's just like, I'm gonna give you my life force, the rest of my chakra, so Naruto could live, type of deal? I don't know. See, that I think there's a lot of fine details that need to be explained still.
That puts these villains at a significant advantage, though.
They do.
So this is going to be a hyped arc
Yep.
in seeing them fight.
I think they kind of had to do something like this though, because in all reality, I mean, this has always been like a quote, right? Like Kakashi's like, "Oh, the new generation will always pass the old generation." But in
Yeah.
like all reality, the way where Naruto and Sasuke were at, there's no way like any of the younger kids could pass them unless they got like some supernatural powers, or you're gonna have to essentially, knock Sasuke and Naruto down off that pedestal because right, Naruto's working with the Nine Tails. Sasuke had the Rinnegan. They had some of the original, like OG Hagoromo's powers. You know what I mean, from his sons Ashura and Indra, that chakra type of deal. So I don't know. And then so the other question is Kurama gone for good? Like the other thing
Oh
What?
the
no.
other thing they refer to in like Naruto, right, is like the tailed beasts can't die. They're essentially just reborn. So it's like, how long does it take for
That's
him to get?
true.
How long does it take for him to get reborn? Like, will Naruto's lifetime like be dead by then? Like, is it like, okay, I'm gonna be reborn, but technically it takes like 100 years, or is it like one of those things that happens right away? So it's like Naruto gonna have to go like find him or something like that. You know what I mean?
How I could see they play this out is okay, Naruto had kids. Part of Kurama's chakra gets passed down to his kids, and maybe they
Yeah.
can foster that out of them, and they'll naturally become Jinchuriki.
Hey, that's an interesting idea right
Mm.
there.
Yeah, some people have been speculating that maybe Himo Himawari becomes the next Nine Tails Jinchuriki. I don't know. That'd be a
That'd
little
be kind of
wild,
cool.
but that would be cool though, because I mean, since Baruto's got that karma stuff, I mean, I guess he doesn't really need the Nine Tails because he's gonna essentially become an Atsuki, right? He's gonna basically have all the powers that like Ishiki and Kaguya and all them have.
That's what it seems like, right? Because that one dude essentially lives in Baruto right now.
Yeah,
He's
Mm-hmm.
trying to take over his body. So you'd think at one point, he's gonna have his powers or something like that. I have no idea. It's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff that they could do with this. So also, doesn't Naruto have? He has some chakra of the other tailed beast. I don't know if they
Yeah.
have ever explained
yeah,
that in Naruto, like if that stuff went away. But I know at the end of Naruto or Naruto Shippuden, technically, that was like the whole thing. It's like okay, Naruto still had powers of all the other 8 beasts. Had a little bit of the chakra, not all their chakra, but had some of it, and he was essentially able to call on them whenever he wanted to.
yeah.
So maybe it's like, is that why like Naruto's not dead because he does have some of those chakras in them? Like,
That could be the loophole, and he still has Ashura's chakra,
yeah,
right? The Sage of the Sixth Path. So maybe he can still activate that, but just without the
yeah.
Karama cloak.
So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna have like, I don't know if Naruto still has like Sage of Six Paths like power still, but like ever since he was born, right, he had Ashura's chakra because that stuff like keeps getting passed down from generation to generation, which is why he has like a high chakra reserve in general. So that's why I think like he's still gonna be like the strongest, if not, maybe second to Sasuke as far as power level goes. But we'll see. That's some crazy news, man. After they make you fall in love with Kurama, right? Because you're like you always grew up hating the Nine Tails, and then They make you fall in love with him, and now they're just gonna take him away.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off. They're gonna have to earn back some of my trust because right now I'm feeling a little bit salty. But it's all right. We know there's always gonna be dips and valleys to the hero's journey. So
This was also Kishimoto's first issue back, right?
yeah, yeah. Everyone was like,
Dang.
"F Kishimoto."
I know everyone was all happy because, like, the rumor is going around that Naruto is gonna die. But then they're
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, Kishimoto's back. He's gonna come over here, save the manga." And this dude just pulls out the chair and like, "Nah, Nine Tails is dead. Sorry, suckers. Got to kill someone off."
Oh God. I
So
don't
I mean,
know.
we'll see. Only time can tell, right?
All right, if you skipped ahead 5 minutes, we're back. The spoiler's gone. It'll ruin your day, so don't go back. Don't go back unless you're like me and you like spoilers and spoil your whole life. So we're we're about to hit y'all with our would you rather's of the week. Y'all ready for this?
Let's do it.
Who's going first?
I can go first.
All right,
So
which
I did mine. Couple anime worlds are essentially what you're picking to live in, right? So I did kind of like post-apocalyptic type of stuff.
okay.
So would you rather, be alive during essentially like Stone Wars? So picture that the whole world was turned to stone. You somehow you become uncracked, right? And you're the only person essentially living, and you got to navigate through life essentially being a caveman again. Or would you rather be like post-apocalyptic, like zombie? So I'm thinking like nothing like too crazy, but like kind of like School Live, whereas like a bunch of couple high school girls who or like everyone got turned into zombies, so they're kind of stuck like living at their school, fighting them off type of deal. But it's not like they're not like crazy zombies where they're like just straight savages running 100 miles per hour at you. They're kind of the normal typical zombies. So kind of serious. So would you rather be in the Stone Wars, world, or post-apocalyptic zombie world?
The way I break it down, in Dr. Stone, he comes back to life and then he brings his friends back.
Yep,
So it's basically like survived to recreate the world with your friends.
exactly.
Or with your friends, you gotta survive by fighting off zombies.
Survive to almost preserve what you already
Mm.
have in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so
So
I think I'd go with the Stone Age.
you go with the stone. You'd want to start from scratch.
Yeah, because you're fighting to reserve what is left, but instead, you on the other side, you could just build it up from the ground. So
That
you're
is,
with your
Oh,
buddies, you can create whatever you want. You're not
yeah.
just out here trying to live day to day, not die. You can
I
actually
guess
create something.
I guess the question is, right, how confident on your abilities are to recreate things. You know what I mean? Is it one of those things where you're just going to be, creating a campfire to get by, or are you gonna put in the work to create, some actual, advancement in technology?
Yeah, I think you could have advancement in technology. All you
Yeah,
got to do is find that one hard drive. I think the key is electricity, right? Once
yeah,
you get
yeah.
electricity, you could try to find out how to access a hard drive somewhere, and then slowly gather intel from there.
yep. Tyler.
All right, you know what? I'm going with give me those zombies because number one, I've got terrible craftsmanship. I'm not building a fort. Number two, I've had terrible eyesight since like second grade. So if we don't have somebody to give me LASIK or a pair of glasses, I'm done. All right. So give me those zombies, especially if there's slow zombies. I'm effing up some slow zombies. Yo, I'm gonna grab. I'll get like a heavy box of. I'll just get like a box of Cheez-Its. I'm blasting everybody in the dome. All right. I'll be okay as long as I can plug in my iPod and I can warm up some macaroni and cheese. We'll survive through the zombie apocalypse.
We had an entire zombie phase there for about 10 years.
Yeah.
With the start of Twilight, it just like chain reactioned in all these comics and all these different
Hmm.
movies.
Right.
So we used to discuss that a lot on what's the best way to kill them.
Ooh, that's the tricky part, huh?
Hmm. I
And it's
think the
like,
way I went about it was if you could rig a large building and get them to follow you through that building, you can just blow it as you run out.
that is
Take
true.
out like 100,000 or so, something like
Yeah.
that.
What if
Because
they're like the zombies in what? And is it I Am Legend?
Oh, F that noise.
Oh,
What
I'm going
about
to Stone
those
Age.
zombies?
I want no part of that.
You imagine like those guys, just like I said, running a 4-3-40 man just straight at you.
but still, with those guys, they can't go under the sunlight. Think about the
Yeah.
zombies from the World War Z movie,
Oh gosh.
where they
No, those
create
guys
like
are.
these towers. And they're
Mm,
superhuman. They could jump up, take down helicopters.
yeah. So this is why I did like School Live, right? Is just because the zombies are more casual, they're more chill. They're like the type of zombies.
Yeah.
Nothing like too crazy. Of course, they're like still aggressive. But like I said, they ain't no track stars here, running that 4-3-40 straight at you, going straight for the throat.
I've just never thought that made sense either. I'm like, these zombies, their bodies literally deteriorating. They're just like, it's flesh hanging off of bones, and you're trying to tell me they can run 40 miles an
Yeah.
hour? Get that trash out of my face. Give me that Walking Dead zombie that's like barely scraping by,
Yeah.
and I can just throw him in a dumpster.
This is a tricky part, right? So part of me, like the idea of like starting from scratch and like trying to recreate everything like the way you want it almost is pretty unique. But then vice versa, could you imagine living in a world where it's like fully like already built up, right? And you have full freedom to go wherever you want and do what you want. Like you would have access to all the technology in the world. Like imagine just you just freaking going on to a military base or just going to freaking Pepsi and getting the Coca-Cola recipe or the Pepsi recipe. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or like getting like you'd have access to go wherever you want and have all the like technology in your hands versus starting from scratch. But starting from scratch would be cool because you get to like make whatever you want and then essentially you'd build your own kingdom how you wanted it.
If you had everything there in the zombie society, though, you still don't have running water. You still don't have any utilities. You're going to have to figure out how to get those plants going.
Yeah,
Because if
that's the
everybody's
tricky
turned into
part.
zombies, you have the infrastructure that was
Yeah,
previously there, but it's deteriorated. So you're still going to have to learn some of the same skills. I just think you have a better base to start on, right?
yeah. So it's honestly like, would you rather do a puzzle piece start from scratch, or would you like one that's already has the edges built around it, so you just got to fill in the gaps?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's I don't know, it's a different preference for everyone, but I'm personally torn on it still.
Yeah, give me that 50 cal at one of the government bases, and I'll just blow up all the zombies.
Yeah, I like it. Cool.
Here's
So
my next one. So my would you rather of the week. I'm pulling stuff out of Bleach and I'm pulling stuff out of Fairy Tale. So
Let's
would
okay,
you
go.
rather
okay.
be Lucy Hartfilia and have the power of her keys,
Mm.
Oh,
or would you
spirits.
rather be from Bleach, be Odahime and have the power of her spirits?
Hmm.
So two characters kind of support same type of drawing mindset from otherworldly spirits.
Hmm.
All right. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Lucy Hartfilia because
Oh, what?
oh,
I could have sworn. Tyler's on that One Piece and Bleach nuts 24/7. So this is a surprise to me.
I usually am. I throw a lot of shade at Fairy Tale, but I'll give him this. I think Lucy's powers. Well, I think she's got more range with her celestial spirits because, for example, you could call up that that haircut guy if you needed a fresh cut before you go to the store. You could call up you could call up that mermaid chick if you need to. I don't
Aquarius,
know. You need to throw a water
Scorpio.
park in your backyard. Yeah, Scorpio. If you need to throw hands, you call Taurus. Let him chop some dudes up. So I feel like she's just got. There's more variety amongst her celestial spirits. Like they can do a broader range of skills or jobs if you need be.
Okay, I see ya. So for me, the way I'm thinking about it is I'm keeping them like in their respective worlds, right? And I think Orihime's powers are translate a little stronger than Lucy's powers. Because let's be real, man. Lucy, she kind of gets smacked left and right, man. She's not carrying the weight. My boy Natsu carries most of that weight still. But Orihime, like I mean, she doesn't. I think Lucy definitely has like more access. Like she has like more attack power, right? A lot more different opportunities because she has a lot more different spirits. Like I think Orihime has like 6 moves, right? Like nothing like too much. But I think like her defense and her healing capabilities are a lot better than like Lucy's, attack or defense or healing capabilities. So I think I'm gonna pick Orihime because I think her powers are, just like I said, just translate a little stronger. You know what I mean? Like she's over here
Yeah.
catching my boy Ichigo falling from like a 10,000 foot tower. You know what I mean? She has her little shield power that's like OP that could like protect anything. You know what I mean? Like even Aizen, man, he recognized her and he like kidnapped her. You know what I mean? Because he was like interested in her powers. So you're talking about
Yeah.
like one of the strongest characters out there. Took interest in her powers. She has like it has to be a pretty unique power.
So
Yeah, I
the
mean,
keys would be more useful in everyday life.
Yeah.
But if you're a
mhm.
fighter, like you're saying, I think you have the right choice. The ability to have a force field, ability to heal, that's going to be a lot more powerful if you
Yeah.
are a fighter. But if it's just me right here in my everyday life, yeah, I'm going with the fresh cut. I'm going with the new sneakers whenever I want, you know?
Yeah. Because it's like Lucy herself's not even like necessarily strong, right? Like it really
No.
is just her keys. She has her Lucy kick. We get it, man. We all love the Lucy kick or punch, whatever it may be. But you know what I mean? Like Orihime, she could stand in the presence of like people duking it out. You know what I mean? Like when Ichigo was scrapping, she could stand in like the presence of like him and like
Yeah.
help potentially help him out. Whatnot. Lucy she herself like kind of almost becomes a burden in a way because like her keys have to look out for her. Natsu's gonna have to look out for her if she's around because like her herself is like almost a liability. It's not like, she can really protect herself. Like Orihime, she could use her shield to protect herself. She could heal people, right? So that's just like my
Yeah.
thinking behind it.
Yeah, because you know what? I don't want to rely on the power of friendship every time I'm in a scrap. So, I mean, yeah, Orihime is definitely the better fighter. So I would say that's a good way to break it down. If I have to live in the verse, give me Orihime's. If we're living in the real world, I want those keys. That's what I'm saying.
But you know what? There ain't no wrong answer because they have their boys with them. Like Lucy, if you pick Lucy, you're cherry, man, because you got Natsu. You got the dog Natsu right there,
The
right?
dog.
If you pick Orihime, you got the legend himself, man, Ichigo. Like you're good either way. There is no wrong pick right here.
Man, that was a good one, Nick. You know, I think.
Wait, who was Nick's pick?
Oh yeah, wait, Nick. What was? Oh yeah, Nick. You said Orihime.
I think the same thing. Like if I was in everyday life, I'm picking keys. If not, then spirits.
Spirits. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
go. I'm gonna ride Orihime all the way. But I think honestly, like you imagine just like pulling out a key. You got your barber come up behind you and like, I got you, man. Let me get that fresh. Let me get that fresh fade or
Give you that
tapered going.
fade, dog.
Exactly. Line up. All right, we got you, son. That'd be. I mean, that would be pretty cool.
All right. Let me hit you with this last. Would you rather? Okay, so if you're if you're trying to be a bone thug and you want to join a gang,
Ooh.
are you going with the Phantom Troop from Hunter, Silent on the X, Hunter, or you going with that Red Cloud Black Cloak Akatsuki from
Ooh.
Naruto Shippuden?
Hey now.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Let's see.
If
In
you
all,
look at how these groups form, the Akatsuki kind of just picks up whoever they like, right?
yeah,
It's like, hey, you're cool, you're for our cause, you can join our team. Here's a black cloak.
yeah.
For the Phantom
You're an
Troop,
outlaw.
you're an outlaw, and you got to kill one of the 12 to get in the group. So I feel
Yeah.
like the group is stronger all around in the first place. So if you're in the Phantom Troop, you're an OG. If you're one of the Akatsuki, you're kind of one of the outcast guys that just formed your own crew. So I'm
Yeah.
thinking Phantom Troop with this one.
Oh, okay. I was kind of thinking something similar, but let me tell you why I'm picking the Akatsuki, right? Because I'm telling you what, guess who looks fresher, right? I want to be in that black cloak with those red clouds on it, with your village tag on it, with them
Oh,
crossed out. Oh, I'm gonna be looking fresh, man. I'm gonna be over there, do my little walk. You know what I'm saying? I might be with I'd hopefully be with my boy Tachi. Over there, we just be cruising. You just and then there's the freedom, right? Like you could go wherever and do what you want, unless Pain tells you to do something. Of course, You gotta listen to my man. But you know what? I'm picking the Akatsuki because they look fresh, man. You talking about that like uniform right there? Come on, man. If you look across, you just look online anywhere. Mostly everyone's dressing up like a Akatsuki because we all know these guys looking legit. But
Yeah.
Phantom Troop, you got to be a savage, man. You got to be a savage just to get in the group. So if you have that grit to it, you know what I mean. It's not a bad group to be in.
And we already know what your headband's going to look like. It's going to look like a panda in our logo. You got the taco on there with it
Yeah.
crossed out on
Exactly.
it.
Straight out. Let's go.
You just be chilling, and you get like little 2-man groups. Like, man, it'd be I don't know. And honestly, I'd probably picking it more just for the chance to like hang out with the Tachi or Pain.
Yeah, I would probably have to go Akatsuki because I think they get more freedom too. Like, they do their like FaceTime calls where their holograms roll up, but they pretty much in their squad of two, they're free to do their business. But I think Phantom Troop, only the real person that you see kind of riding solo is Hisoka, but he's kind of a weirdo anyway. I don't think he really even
Yeah,
likes the group. But
he's
I
an
think,
outlier.
yeah, like everybody else, you pretty much have to travel with them. And they're hanging out in like abandoned warehouses and stuff. And then you gotta like murder children and murder all these old ladies and stuff. I mean, they're definitely they're probably more savage, but
Yeah, they're
if
savages.
yeah, yeah, I want that red cloud cloak.
Yeah,
Give me that Akatsuki.
because they're really able to do like we said what they want and like keep their values right. Like Hidan wanted to make was it him who wanted to make money 24/7 still right? Like
Yeah.
Itachi was able to keep an eye on the Leaf Village the whole time. Like Orochimaru was able to try to get in close with the Sharingan type of stuff. So like
Mhm.
you're able to keep like your own personal goals like and like make that the priority still.
Yeah, it's pretty sick until Naruto and Kakashi kill all of you, but up until then we'll be having a good time.
Right.
All right. Y'all ready to get into this debate?
Ooh.
Mm.
Yeah.
All
You ain't
right,
ready.
now, full disclosure, on Boruto, I'm on episode 45. So to be fair, that's what I'll do. I will only make arguments for each character at episode 45 or less. So don't worry, I won't be like, well, Naruto's a Hokage and I haven't seen what Baruto's done. So I
All right.
won't, I won't give Naruto extra credit. But we are debating Kid Naruto versus Kid Baruto. Who is the better character? Who's the better ninja? Who's
Ooh.
got better goals?
What?
Who's going to be the real hero of the Hidden Leaf
Ooh.
Village? Let's go.
Man, so just to open it up, I'm gonna just drop the news right here, man.
Hmm.
Baruto is hands down better and greater than Kid Naruto, man. You guys gotta think about it, okay? I'm said it, man. This ain't no clickbait. I'm saying it.
What?
Right. So first of
What
all,
the fuck?
let me ask you guys this question, right? And I know if you guys answer one way, you're probably lying. Whose life would you want to live as a kid?
Baruto? Because
Baruto.
it's
Exactly.
cushier, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, man. There you go. That's why he is better than Kid Naruto. None of us want to go through that grind Naruto did. Of course, it looks nice and ideal, right? Once he gets to the top, only because we know he gets to the top. But what if we didn't know he's getting to the top? If you look back on Naruto, right, he's kind of looking a little lame at first. You're like, this kid just like yowls, like in the beginning, man. He's just like weak. He can't even do a shadow clone. He can't even like he has no special like ninjutsu,
Oh
nothing. His
God.
taijutsu is garbage. But then if you flip it, what is it like 20 years later, and he got his son, dude, his son's a stud. Baruto over here knows how to do a Rasengan, a disappearing Rasengan, right? This dude knows. This dude has the training from the Hyuga clan because that's what his mom is. So this guy is lethal hand to hand. He got the skills. He's doing some 8 trigram stuff over there. Doing a little air palm. I guarantee you he knows how to do it. And this dude has probably like the best dad in the world. You know what I'm saying?
What?
His dad is Naruto himself. You know what I'm saying? How are you
You're
gonna that?
contradicting yourself,
How,
boy.
how, no, that's the whole topic though. We're talking about the kids, right? We're not talking about adult Naruto because, like I said, if you're looking into the future everyone's picking Naruto. So you got to keep it when they're kids. And you ain't gonna tell me Kid Naruto, up until he gets training from Jiraiya, is any better than Boruto at all. Boruto probably puts the work on him if they fought early on, especially in episode 44 in where Tyler's at.
Because Boruto has the bigger potential, right? Because he inherited both his mother's and his father's powers.
Yeah.
But soft times create soft people, right?
Oh,
so can he actually execute on those powers that he's received? Without going through any of those hard times, there's no way he's going to be able to step up and think like Naruto did when he was a kid. To be able to actually survive all by himself without this cushy little world that Boruto grew up in.
That's fair, but I think it's kind of the opposite though. I think Naruto had the most potential, right? Because you're talking about someone who didn't have anyone to help him out in the beginning, and this dude has Ashura without, we didn't know it at first, but had Ashura's chakra with him. Man, he had like one of the greatest chakra reserves. He hands down had the greatest potential between the two. But then that's the whole point, right? In his whole childhood, this dude struggled. Not his fault, right? None of it was Naruto's fault. My boy Kakashi over here wanted to, and we'll talk about how trash Kakashi is in the future. My boy Kakashi over here, right, just said, nah, Naruto, I don't want to train you, man. I'm going to over here train my boy Sasuke. And he got stuck with like Ebisu Sensei. You know what I mean? But like I said, though, like Naruto or Boruto over here has like his sensei. Guess who? Sasuke, man. He's the second strongest ninja in all of this whole like Naruto world, right? So you're telling me you're going to have the second strongest ninja training you versus Ebisu Sensei? I want to be Boruto, man. Hands down, I want to be Kid Boruto. You're living in a nice place. You get whatever food you want. You're living in a village that is just past its time. If you look at that's the whole thing about Naruto though, right? Like that's what's appealing about him is this dude had from the bottom up had to just grind his whole way. But I'm telling you guys, come on, Boruto, how is he not better than Kid Naruto?
I feel like Nogs just explained all the reasons why Baruto's trash.
No.
So first of all, if you actually want 45 episode 45, you know what Naruto's doing? He's beating Kiba in the tuning exams, farting in that homie's face. He said, "Get out of here, Kiba."
What did you just say? He's
Bro,
farting in the homie's face.
that was basically the end of Kiba's career. Naruto ended that boy's whole career. You know what Baruto is doing on episode 45? He's chasing after the Byakuya gang who's like stealing jewelry at pawn shops. Bro, Baruto, his dad is the Hokage. His mom is Hinata. And all this kid does is complain. Nobody thinks I'm special. Nobody recognizes me. Bro, if you switched Baruto with Naruto's place, I think Naruto is even farther along than Baruto is. And Baruto, I don't think he could have handled the pressure that Naruto was under. Being ostracized by the village, being bullied, being hated on. I think he either would have became a villain or he just would have crumbled. I don't know.
He would have became a villain though, because look at Baruto during his exams, right? He had to cheat just so he could show off to his dad something so minor like that. But if you stick him in a place where he has no one, what extremes would he went to actually show off?
Well, I think you could use that as a double-edged sword, right? You toss Naruto, like let's say if Naruto grows up with Minato alive and Kushina alive, right? Naruto's not going to have that same grit because what does he have to grind for? He doesn't have that edge. He doesn't have his whole persona of, hey, the village hates me. I want to become the Hokage because I want to prove everyone wrong. Everyone's going to love him because essentially, right, if you're going to do hypothetical like that, right, the fourth Hokage essentially beats, the Nine Tails and he's the hero of the village. So Naruto's going to be probably even more babied than Boruto is because his dad is like the legit big time. You're almost in the same situation Boruto's in. So I think in all honesty we're kind of seeing the parallel, right? Like what Naruto's life could have been if Minato defeated the Nine Tails without having to sacrifice himself is the life Boruto's living. So I don't like Naruto you think Naruto becomes the Hokage? Like if he had his dad around, he doesn't have that same
No.
grit. You know what I mean?
And if you look at them as kids, he was a lot more immature. He was way more annoying than Boruto was as a kid. And he had less smarts than Boruto does.
Exactly.
So he probably would have just been an average ninja.
Right? He probably would have been like Jonin level, like Anbu. Does he make it to Hokage? At
But he
that
still
point,
has Asha's chakra, though.
yeah, he
I think
does. So,
he'll become a reputable ninja.
but at that
I
point, I
take that
bet
back.
you Sasuke becomes, the Hokage. You know what I mean?
I don't think he ever wanted to, though.
Sasuke,
Always wanted to be that rogue guy that's on the road and
yeah, but
out
I'm
there
just saying
fighting.
because then you gotta like you're kind of thinking what ninja would have had that grit to change, like would have had that background story, that grit to like change the world, that really had that hard life growing up. And the only
Hmm.
other one there is you got like Neji and then Sasuke who have like similar backgrounds to Naruto.
It's almost hard to compare because Naruto's generation is so different than Boruto's. Like if you just look at the kids that were in Boruto's class, you've got Sasuke, the last remaining member of the Uchiha clan, watched his whole village clan die. You've got Neji, who's basically just like a human slave for the Hyuga clan, and then I mean, just it was just different times. Then by the time Baruto's around, everyone's got their parents.
Yeah.
All like the social injustice has been worked out. All the kids
No
have got
war, yeah.
no war, video games. Like I think, like Nick said, soft times create soft people. So I mean, yeah, eventually Baruto and Sarada and Mitsuki they got to figure it out because the Atsuki comes in. But right out the gates, they don't have that same they don't have that same grit. They're not that same kind of dog as like Sasuke. If you took Sasuke and put him in Baruto, he probably kills everyone during the tuning exams.
Yeah,
Like he's just the
I
only one
agree with
left.
that, man.
Like nobody else
Sasuke was
makes.
a savage when he was a kid.
Yeah.
He for sure is. Like no, like hands down, like comparing Sasuke and Sarada, however you say your name, Sasuke fucking smashes Sarada. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like that's like the unfortunate part though, because like she doesn't like have necessarily have like the coolest train. Like Naruto is getting trained by Itachi. He got trained by Konohamaru, right? And this dude knows how to do the Rasengan already without having to struggle, and somehow it's like invisible, which is like crazy to think of. So if you're thinking about like who's like currently better, I think Baruto is currently better. You think who has the better life? I think Baruto has the better life at this point. Like if you compare them respectively, you know what I mean. So I'm not too sure, without looking ahead in the future, how Naruto is better or his younger self is better in Baruto in any way.
Well, okay. I think like Baruto, he's definitely. I saw people make this argument on Twitter. He's actually a better ninja. I mean, if you're like recruiting your team, who do you want, Kid Baruto or Kid Naruto? You definitely want Kid Baruto. Like he's works better with his team. He's more talented, more intelligent, better at
That's
planning.
what I'm
He
saying,
thinks
my
things
man.
through. But I think, but I think when push comes to shove, if you put Baruto in a situation where he's just like he's having to face someone like Zabuza and whatever that dude was or a chick that could like pull up the mirrors, he's probably getting killed in that fight. I don't know if he's down to take 20 needles to the chest like Naruto and Sasuke were. I think
But
Naruto is just more down for the cause.
Yeah, I think
without
Naruto has a way of going off of instinct that
yeah,
Boruto doesn't have. Just like
I
that
agree.
instinctual feeling, hey, I need to move right now or I'm going to get hit. I don't
Yeah.
think Boruto has that. He's more of a strategist type.
Well, to be fair, just because Tyler brought up the example, Naruto didn't have that either. Remember, this dude was about to get murdered by
Oh,
Haku,
yeah.
and Sasuke hopped in front of him and took all those needles, and
Yeah,
Sasuke was
that's
gonna
true.
about to get murdered. But then vice versa, though. Like if you exclude the Nine Tails from Naruto, because that's what bailed him out a bunch of times. Naruto's dead as a kid. Like there's no hands down. Like he dies against Zabuza and them because if he doesn't have Nine Tails stuff, because that's what gets him out. That's what saves him and Sasuke for fighting Haku. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Naruto probably dies even sooner than Baruto would potentially die.
But the true question is, would you rather have ramen or green chili cheeseburgers.
That's true. That's the one. Honestly, you know what? If I were obviously if I were to like choose who I would want to be personally, I want to be Naruto 100% of the day, right? But like
Yeah.
the whole debate is like who's like essentially better or like maybe has the better life is the versus Kid Naruto versus Kid Boruto. I don't know, man. Like we grew up eating green chili cheeseburgers, right? So mad love for Boruto, that being his like favorite food, because that's what we do in New Mexico. But I don't know, man. That ramen hits different ever since I watched Naruto.
Mm,
Ramen, like if
that
you get like
Ichiraki.
double, exactly. If you get like double meat or triple meat, you know what I mean, with like double noodle.
Extra
That,
MSG. That's some good stuff.
Mm.
yeah, it's a game changer, man. That bowl of ramen, that fills you up. That's for sure.
I don't know. Well, and I feel like Naruto. I think Naruto had a better team though because he's got Kakashi, the future Hokage, the the dog of the Ambu Black Ops. He's got Sasuke, the last member of the Uchiha clan. He's got okay,
That's it.
forget
That's it.
Sakura, forget
That's it.
Sakura, but but I mean Konohamaru, he's there. He can do a Rasengan, but I'm not I'm not thoroughly impressed with
Not sold either, man.
Konohamaru yet.
No, I'm not either.
He's
So
like
I get,
that cool big brother, kind of like that Captain America. He's not the strongest, but he's a tryhard.
yeah. He's honestly, I thought he'd be a lot stronger at this point in the time. Because they like, I mean, in Naruto, they hype him up, right? Like he's the grandson of the third Hokage.
Yeah,
Like, you know, he got special training, special treatment. Naruto even taught him how to do a Rasengan. This dude essentially killed a pain, right? With his Rasengan, you're like, oh, this guy has potential. And he's like, he's still strong, but has like nothing like spectacular or special. So I guess if you're comparing both Team Sevens, right, like across the board,
yeah.
Kakashi versus Konohamaru, I'm taking Kakashi. Sasuke versus Sarada, or however you say her name, I'm taking Sasuke easy. Naruto Baruto, I mean, honestly, like the edge kind of goes to Baruto earlier on, but like when Naruto, like after the tuning exams, when he beats Neji, I'm taking that Naruto over Baruto any day, like no
Yeah.
hands down, because that's like the part where kind of like what you guys said, you know what I mean, where the switch kind of just flipped for him, and it's like no matter what tough situation he was in, you like knew Naruto was gonna get out of it, and then like Sakura versus Mitsuki or however you say his name, I'm taking Mitsuki. You know what I
Because
mean?
we're gonna have to see this play out a few more years of the Boruto
Yeah.
manga, and then
Yeah.
do this again as they're coming into their themselves and see how we rate them as they go throughout the story.
It's gonna be interesting because now they're just gonna OP power up Baruto essentially and do my boy Naruto wrong.
Okay, so I'll say this for my final argument for Naruto. I got to give respect to Naruto for the fact that at 12 years old, or maybe even younger, this guy knows exactly what he wants to do in life. He's like, I'm going to be the Hokage. I might, graffiti on the stone faces. Maybe I can't even make a shadow clone. I got no friends. My parents are dead, but I'm going to find a way to make it happen. And Baruto's like, I want to play that new Super Ninja Fighter 2.
Oh,
Get out of here, bro. Come
okay.
on, get some goals and dreams.
And you're also forgetting Naruto originated his own move. He is the creator of the sexy
Oh,
jutsu.
Let's go.
that is true, man. He could
What's
have.
Naruto got?
Hey, Baruto has the invisible Rasengan.
That's
So
pretty
if,
cool.
if we're
That's
comparing the two,
100% by accident.
if we're comparing the two, it's like which one would I rather have? I think I'd take an invisible Rasengan than anything. I mean, that's just the whole tricky part, right? Okay, so like I think we all agree Baruto has the better life growing up. I think we all agree that Baruto might be the slightly the better ninja. But I gotta admit though, this is my argument for Naruto. Like I said, once he beats Neji in the tuning exams, that dude just turned. That dude, he had a glow up, right? Like
Big time.
he turned into a different animal, man. That dude just had that. He had that chip on his shoulder where you're like, all right, this dude like beat the strongest like little Genin. I'm riding with him like 100% of the way because like early on, like Naruto, you're like, man, Naruto's kind of annoying. He's kind of like Asta, from Black Clover. Since we talked Black
Yeah.
Clover a lot, like he's just
Mhm.
loud and annoying. And you're like, he can't even do magic. Like there's nothing impressive about him. And it's like Naruto is like he's super weak. He can't even do a shadow clone jutsu. Like come on, like do something cool. Like he's just getting worked on and just being a troublemaker. Graffitiing the Hokage's faces, all that stuff. But man, like I said, once he beats Neji, different animal. And after that game, like after that episode, Naruto any day because it's like this guy's gonna get to where he wants to get.
And when it's just two totally different paths, because Boruto in his class is essentially what Sasuke was, and Naruto started off as like Denki, like can't do jack. So it's just like Boruto, he's already got all the skills. Like
Yeah,
everybody's trying to catch up with him, whereas Naruto was trying to catch up with Sasuke. So it's just they've got
yeah,
two different trajectories.
yeah. I personally do think that like if the fourth Hokage stayed alive, we're kind of seeing like how Naruto's life would play out
Yeah.
through Boruto, right?
Hmm.
So that's gonna be kind of interesting to see how like where Baruto ends up in the future. Like, does he become a Hokage? Like, does he take over next, or does he become someone who's like a Sasuke, who's kind of like the shadow Hokage type of deal? Like, kind of looks out for the village behind the scenes, or does this dude just lay an egg, man? And is he looking like Hamaru? You know what I'm saying? Is this
Well,
dude you're just like, all right, he's cool. He's a Jonin. He's really strong, but he's not like spectacular. He ain't unique. You know what I mean? So I mean, overall, I'm riding with my boy Naruto any of the day. You know what I'm saying? Even though I made that
yeah.
argument, but I'm talking about, kids specifically early on, hands down, give it to Baruto, guys. Like, I think, I don't, it's going to be hard to argue against that. But we'll see. Baruto has some time to turn it around soon. If not, this discussion goes in the opposite way because then Baruto is going to just lay an egg.
Mm. And you know what? We'll put this on our Twitter polls and our Instagram polls. We'll let y'all decide who's better, Kid Naruto or Kid Baruto. You already know what the real answer is, and you know what we think. But tell us what you think. All right? Y'all got any final thoughts today?
My final thoughts is gotta apologize to my Naruto fans out there, but we lost a good one today though with that breaking news. My heart hurts for that one. I'm not gonna say it. If you guys want to see what I'm talking about, go back and watch the spoilers that you guys skipped over, you suckers. But other than that, we got to see, man. Baruto has a lot of potential, especially now that Kishimoto's back. They've incorporated some of the old characters like Naruto and Sasuke quite a bit, so I'm definitely interested in it now.
I think all I've learned is that you can't talk with Tyler about anime because he'll spoil everything for you.
Tyler is the worst, man. He first of all, I'm terrible at keeping like some of the secret. Obviously, like I spoiled a little bit of stuff as far as like My Hero goes today. And Tyler always gets me to spill all the stuff I like read in mangas and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's hard for me to keep it in because I love like I just love anime, right? I love manga, I love watching it. Like I always want to talk about it, so it's hard for me to keep it in.
You know what I think got me on spoilers was when me and Nick were in sixth grade. I was in the middle of reading Harry Potter. It would have been number 6, and I was halfway through the book, and Nick was like, "So what'd you think about what's his name,
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore dying?" And I was like, "Huh, I haven't gotten that far." But now I'm even more hyped to finish the book, and I think ever since then I've just been a fanatic for them spoilers.
Uh,
So it all started
man.
back then. Well, I hope you enjoyed our Fat Boys anime today. We try to bring that Fat Boys energy. If y'all would like to reach out to us on social medias, again, that's Fat Boys Anime amongst all platforms. Hit us up if you've got questions or topics you'd like to see us cover. Hit us up in the DMs or the comments, all right? Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.
See ya.